Hey, Professor Homa, back with part 2 of WDO3, our styles assignment using the software extensions file that we're working on. And for the first part, we did steps 1 through 8, which was basically the hard part, the formatting. We formatted software and file extensions. We formatted the category headings. We formatted these elements here that basically had a tab and a leader and were indented. And we also formatted this general formats, which is going to repeat a couple times, that just has a space before and it's bold. Now, again, this stuff will repeat a number of times. So instead of doing all that work again, we're going to save the formatting that we did and just apply it to all the rest of our document. Now, just to take a look at it again, here's our category headings. And again, they're not in red. We'll put them in red later. This general formats repeats here, and then I think it repeats here at the end. So there's 2 other times, 3 altogether, that we use that general formats. That software extension gets used pretty much throughout. And just so you know the process here, it's going through these categories of software. It's talking about the different applications that create these, and then general formats are just like general things like text files and things that aren't related to a specific software application. So just like for Photoshop, JPEGs and GIFs and PNGs and all that stuff isn't just from Photoshop. We use it for all kinds of things. So anyway, going back to our document in Word, we already did these 3 things, and we also made them styles. So we have our styles here, and what we're going to do is just basically apply these styles to the rest of our document. And this is the fun part, because I could go into here and just highlight these 2 things here, and then they'll be software extensions, and you can see they just take that formatting. This is another heading here, spreadsheet software, and that is a category heading, and you can see it created the space before. It's not indented, it doesn't have a leader here. These Excel, numbers, Office, these 4 things here, they're going to be software extensions. Now if you put them in the wrong style, if I just went here and put them in category heading, the nice thing about styles is that if you make a mistake, you just put it in the right style. There, it's in the right style. And as I move down, general formats is going to be in the general style. Tab delimited, that's the only one here for general formats, is in the software extensions. Then we have another heading. Then we have another couple pieces of software here, which are in software extensions, and so on. Okay, I paused recording and did a couple more, and I'll just finish up the last one here. This is a category heading. The 3 Adobe things are software extensions. The general formats is general. And this last one here is just a software extension. Okay, and actually there's another one here that gets bumped off the page. I'm going to put that in software extension. So we do want this on one page. So rather than trying to squeeze this in or changing the margins, some neat things we can do is actually just update the style. So one thing you also want to make sure is clicking these things, they should show up in the right style, because that means they're all linked to the original style. If I click here, it should show category heading. Even if I go down at the bottom, if I click in this, it should show software extensions. So that means they're all matched up with their style. So when I edit one of these styles, they'll update right on the screen and I won't have to do any work. So this moves us up to actually number 11. Number 10 was just applying all of our styles, which we did. Now number 11, what we're going to do, and this kind of just shows the power of this, is modify the styles. Remember, all these headings were red. Now instead of just highlighting each one at a time and making it red, what we could do, and I'm going to click here just so I'm in the right style, is I'm going to go here to category heading, and when you mouse over this thing, where this little paragraph thing is, you'll get a little button that comes down here. And when that little button comes down, when you mouse over it, click on it, and then you could go to modify. And it'll bring this thing up again. And there's all kinds of things you can modify. So if you had to modify anything, you would do it through here so that it does it to all the styles. You wouldn't want to go up here and do any more modifying. Anything you have to do, you could do it right here. And what I'm asking you to do in number 11 is change the font size from 12 to 14, which I'll do right here. I'll make it 14. Okay? And another thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to make the font color red from automatic. So if you're wondering, what does it say font color? Because this doesn't look like font color. It just says automatic. But it's actually automatic is just black. So I'm going to change it from automatic to red. And that'll make the font red. And then one last thing I'm going to do is change the space before. Now you might look around here and say, where's that? And actually, this is you have to go a little further here. To change the space before, you have to go down to Format, and this is like another place to open up the Paragraph dialog box launcher. But again, you want to do it through here because it'll keep everything linked. So I'm going to go down here to Format, I'm going to go to Paragraph, and here's your Paragraph dialog box launcher, except it was opened up through Styles. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change my spacing. And you remember how our document was a little longer to fit on one page? I'm going to click down here and change it from 18 and put it back down to 12. Okay, and this is all part of step 11. And I'm going to hit OK, and then here I'm going to hit OK. And look at that. Look at the magic take place. Everything that I modified in here is now updated on my document, and notice everything now fits on one page very nice and neatly. And you could certainly do this for any of these styles if you wanted to change anything. If you want to make general formats, be bold italic, just for example. It's only in 3 places. But let's say I wanted to go click on here and then go over to general, and I wanted to make this, I wanted to go modify, and I wanted to make it bold italic. I could hit OK, and by editing that style, it now edited every time general format shows up, it's also in bold italic. So it's a really nice way to kind of be efficient with your formatting, to be consistent. So, if you did have space between things, if you needed to tweak it a little bit, you wouldn't have to do it one at a time. You could just adjust your space before to kind of shorten that space a little bit. So that's using styles. Again, the process is format, and then make a style, and then apply it. And then if you need to make any changes, you do modify. And you modify, again, I'll click here, you modify by hovering over here, using this little arrow and going to modify. And there's some basic character formatting here. And then for any of your, even if you had to modify tabs or anything like that, you have all that stuff here. Under paragraph, under tabs, all that other stuff you can modify, and it'll update everything live on the page. So that's styles. Once you're done, send it back to me.